Oh, we're
Oh,
on.
whoa,
Oh,
hey.
We're live now,
Whoa.
for real this time. Welcome to the
Jeez.
Team Check-In. Still have Nika, Neil, and Vote with us on a day hanging out with the Warriors. Neil was trying to decide where we wanted to start with this Team Check-In.
Mm-hmm.
Neil, have you decided?
Yeah, why don't we start with how Nika and Liam like living with me?
Okay. Nika, how do you like living with Neil? Takes a long
No,
drink.
no, I actually enjoyed it. Neil's actually a pretty funny guy, you know. He does, he's not very problematic.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
When he was in the kitchen, you know, we'd have some late night talks. It was nice. Yeah, he's pretty normal, honestly.
That's not bad. That's not a bad. I'll take that as a
Actually,
compliment. That's not
He does
bad.
walk around shirtless a lot. I
Oh.
don't think I
and then he
like that.
threatens to do it pantless.
Yeah, I don't think I like
And
that.
he's threatened to do it naked.
I did not do that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
I
that
do
backfired
want
on
to
you.
though.
Other
I
than
do
that.
want to though.
Other than that,
Right.
it's pretty good.
Other than
There's
that.
been a few comments maybe. that I'm
I
not a fan
feel
of.
like that's not a bad thing.
Okay, he has some questionable things, but we
What?
cannot get into details. I don't
Right.
think.
Yeah, we're stays in the house.
Look,
We're
okay,
house, stays in the house.
he's not as
Right.
innocent as he makes himself out to be.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yeah,
say
Neil
that.
puts on this like real good Canadian boy.
he's not that-
persona.
Finally, someone else agrees.
He's
on
not that
this.
nice.
Me?
everyone thinks he is.
No, he's
Who,
not.
me?
He really preys on the whole Canadians are so nice
I
stereotype.
never said that.
But everyone else says that, and you take advantage of it.
I
is
don't
what I'm
even say
saying.
anything about it.
Well, but you're relying on other people.
I don't
thinking it.
even say
See, he
anything
doesn't
about
say-
it.
I don't,
eh?
exactly. I
Tarp's
don't
off
say anything
there,
about
bud.
it because
Yeah,
he's
boot it.
subtly, he's subconsciously reminding you that he's Canadian.
So what? I walk around with my tarp off, eh, bud?
But no, overall, I think he's been pretty fine to live with. No issues, really.
Okay.
Like real issues.
Yeah, that's
Neil,
fair.
let's flip the script a little bit. How? What were you expecting moving into their
Get me
apartment?
out of here! Get me out of here! I'm just kidding. It's been great. Yeah, I feel like when you move into like a gamer house, your expectations are low. But like honestly, they're just two normal guys. Everything is great. They're clean. They clean after themselves. Everyone's respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is like an adult, which is huge.
That is
It's nice.
big time.
It is big time.
Vote. How's your living experience changed since Neil got here?
I'll admit it's been a lot more. So I don't know.
Exciting.
Active.
Mm.
Because actually, Neil here, like he
More
was climbing
reason
and
to
stuff
go
like
out
that.
and stuff.
They was at the house doing stuff, and I enjoyed that a lot more.
What? Nika's just sitting around doing nothing.
He never
huh?
wants to come, man.
Okay, I don't want to rock climb.
You pickleball
He's-
later with us?
He's not.
I CBA, dude.
He is doing an important
Pathetic.
job though. He is
Look, I'm just in a
protecting the
mood right now.
battlegrounds,
I'm
making
just-
sure
he's
the
just
in a
integrity of the
mood,
game
I
is
just don't wanna
strong.
do
He's protecting the
anything.
house.
Yeah.
Protect-
No, he's
I
protecting
said
the house
protecting the
already.
Dude,
battleground.
it's like a week or two. I'm just in a mood. Like I just want to be at home and like.
And
Just
you
hit
just
the
want to
queues
lane
all
up
day.
against scaling, by the way, every game.
Yeah.
Like
He's
that's-
protecting all three of our Alienware PCs.
Look, the only thing I'm climbing is the ranked leaderboard, which is what I've been
he
doing
loves
these
saying that. He
days.
loves that line. He loves that
He
line.
does, but it's true.
It is true. Well, how do you guys like watching the Nika stream and hearing like the delayed reaction? I'm assuming you'll hear the "Come on, man!"
I literally
like,
was smiling to
through
myself
the
last
wall.
night. It was like 2 a.m. I walked by his room and I just hear, "Oh, dude!" And sometimes I hear that happen, and then I pop the stream on and I see what happened because it happens like
Yeah.
as I load the
There's
stream.
one
it
thing.
happens.
There's one
It's
thing
so
recently.
good.
Like I was playing solo against him, and I absolutely outplayed this guy.
No, okay. I got him to 1 HP and he Gilga kicks me.
Into tower, and he dies. And I hear him just
What is
shouting.
the range on that ability? I was in
hear-
the
I
middle
hear
of the
him.
lane.
No, you were
I
not.
take a tower shot and I die because of it.
And I hear him across the
I
whole
rage.
apartment.
I lost it.
And it was just so funny.
It's really good when I was in the kitchen and they were queuing up against each other.
that's the
and I
best.
hear both sides of it. I hear Liam go, "Let's go!" I hear me go like, "Oh, dude, what?"
He's so lucky.
Yeah, I really hear, but they're not even talking like to each other.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
for them. They can't hear you. It's for themselves. And I'm just
Right.
in the middle. I'm like, what is going on?
you're just getting the best of both
It
worlds.
is so good.
You're getting a little Hannah Montana action. as
It
they
was
like to call it.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't get that reference. But
What?
That is
Well,
what
it's the
they
best
call
of both worlds, Neil. Like Hannah
Okay.
Montana had the best of both
Did
worlds,
she?
and so were you.
She was a
Yeah.
normal girl and a superstar.
Yeah, that's right.
it. That's crazy.
That's kind of like you, actually. You're a normal guy and you're a superstar.
He's not normal.
And he's not a star.
Right.
Let's get
Oh,
that
I'm the
Okay,
best of
over
no
two.
worlds. Let's go. Let's go.
0 for 2. Unlucky for you, I suppose. All right, let's get down to some actual in-game Smite stuff then, shall we?
No.
Okay, that's good because I did have a question more about living stuff. I know Nika's a big ordering McDonald's fan. That's.
Don't just say me. Like he orders
not
McDonald's.
that bad.
Like when
That-
we look at orders we've completed, the ratio of what we get. he is ordering McDonald's way more likely than me.
You think
I
Vote is
found-
Yeah, but I order way less than him.
He orders way less than me.
My variety is small.
He
Okay.
has like
Yeah.
McDonald's,
But his-
Five Guys.
Liam knows what he likes,
Five Guys
and
anymore.
he sticks to it.
Me, like, if I'm ordering by myself, usually I might get like sushi or something. You know?
You're
See,
switching it up.
I learned something really criminal. We were like driving home from rock climbing, and like people in the house order McDonald's. Yeah, someone would be late at night, you order McDonald's, and we're driving back from rock climbing, and like a block away from our complex, I just see them like a McDonald's, and I
Yeah.
go, like, is that the one we ordered from? And they're like, yep. And I'm like, why don't we just walk there? And it's like,
Dude, no, I
Can't be
tried.
asked.
Dude, I went there one time after a queue. I was like,
after a queue.
I'm gonna get some McDonald's, and it was closed. They wouldn't let me in, but I could
They-
order from it.
They let you drive through.
Yeah, you gotta have a car.
I don't have one of those. Sorry.
No, you don't get to
Yeah, me
walk up.
neither.
You guys gotta get like a
I'm
little.
gonna build one.
Yeah,
you gotta-
Pedal.
Yeah, exactly.
Soapbox
You get like a little, like a Vespa or something
Yeah,
like
I'm
that,
down,
just to like
actually.
zoom over to the McDonald's. I mean, it's like basically, I know the one you're talking about. If you guys
Yeah.
are living in the same apartments,
Yeah.
you don't even have to get on a main road, right?
Yeah, it's
Wow,
literally
yeah.
right
You
there.
don't
Right
even
there.
need an actual license. You could just get like a little like a motorized scooter.
Well, we could just order it as well.
I'm just gonna buy a broken one and push it up and be like, I ran out of gas. I'm literally gonna say no. yeah. Keep doing it.
Can you get?
I'm literally gonna
There's a
leave it
gas
in. I'm gonna
station
leave
right
it.
next to that McDonald's.
I'm gonna leave it in their parking lot too, and then walk in and push it up to it.
Be back the next day.
They can't
pushing
stop
it
me.
again.
They can't stop me.
What? So is Neil not an ordering type of guy? Is he?
No,
Is he
I
cooking?
do still. I
Okay.
do both. It just depends on my mood, mostly.
So would you say you cook the most among these three?
That's
I
just
think
me.
Liam
Nah,
does.
Liam
yeah.
cooks the most
Yeah.
by far.
He's cooking like every day.
How
He
much is
rarely
Liam
orders.
eating if he's ordering McDonald's the most? And
I've
he's
not-
cooking the
No,
most?
He
no,
orders
I'm not-
McDonald's the most, but
I'm
not
not-
ordering.
like,
the most.
Ah, okay, I
Yeah.
understand. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're doing the most cooking. You would say.
Yeah.
You
He cooks
are you
every day,
Cooking
both
family
times.
meals for the whole
No.
squad.
Nah.
F
He's
these
got a
guys.
very
He's
small
picky.
cookbook as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
But he knows what he likes. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, what is it? There was some food opinion, and I'm notorious for my bad food opinion, so I can respect yours. But there was one that was like untenable. What? That you didn't like cheese or something like
Oh
that?
my
Is that
God.
what it
Doesn't like
was?
cheese.
What was it?
Ridiculous.
I still don't like cheese.
Yeah, that's
Which means he doesn't like pizza.
right.
But okay, I've
I
not
did
tried
not
cheese in
think
like
about
since
that.
like
Oh no.
a while. It's been a while since I actually tried it. So maybe my taste buds have changed as I've grown up.
Yeah, I
you know?
feel like
I'm
you
sure they
always
have.
like you would never get anything from like Chipotle and stuff, but then you actually had it. And you're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just-
it was meat.
But he gets like
I don't like
literally plain,
leaving my
like-
comfort zone. But I'll probably like a lot of things in my comfort zone.
So if we could get you like a really good cheese, you
If
would
it was
try it.
if it was bought for me, I'd try it. But I'm not gonna go out and buy it myself.
Okay.
That's fair. Actually, I can see that.
So I don't,
I'm gonna
I don't,
get you some.
You don't
good
wanna be
cheese, bro.
rude.
I don't want to buy something and not like it. you know?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you don't want to. You don't
You're
want
not
to
a risk
risk your
taker.
own money.
I don't want
That's
to waste
not
my
good.
money.
It's not good.
Well, he looked like a risk taker in that 1v1 a little bit ago.
I opt down blind. That's a sick play.
He just didn't want to win. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I always want to win.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Sure, man. Whatever you say. All right, we should probably get into some actual Smite stuff, shall we? I think that this team dynamic was really interesting me coming into this year because it's not very often that you have two teams that were both very successful in their own rights kind of mix 3 players and 2 players together like you guys did. You know, a lot of times it's like, you know, you have a three player core and then 2 players from different teams, or, you know, it's just a mishmash of players that are all coming together for the first time. But I think that with you guys having a strong 3-player core, but then Neil and Fred trying to bring their own identity, do you feel, and Neil, I guess we'll start with you, do you feel like that made it harder to find your team identity because you both had more sound starting points than you would if you were just 5 new players trying to come up with it for the first time?
I feel like there's been a lot of things which make it hard for us to find a team identity. I think that for Space Station, Cherry was like a big voice on their team, and he played way different than any other jungler pretty well, right? He's not like Twig. Like Twig kind of played like that too, but he I think has a very different play style.
Yeah.
And Raffer and I have a very different play style as well to each other, so I feel like that's a big adjustment. And then on top of that too, with Ping as well, I think that Fred's a big component in your jungler as well as a big component to your team in terms of where you want to play. And with that, I think it's been hard to kind of find our footing, just because it's just so hard to play the game when you're on Ping. So I think that those 2 things have made it a bit hard to find a team identity. But I think like as time has gone on, and I think that especially if we were all in America at the beginning of the year, I think it would have been a lot different. So I think that, yeah, us coming in and being like 2 roles that are roaming and have a lot of voice on the map, it's going to be different for sure when we play so much different than their prior teammates. But at the same time, I don't think we've done a bad job adjusting. I just think that our season's just been a bit tumultuous given the circumstance, more or less, in my opinion.
What do you think about that? Do you think that it would have been easier to find a team identity if you were just 5 players coming together and you knew you had to start from scratch instead of having to decide if you wanted to start with either of your foundations or form a new one entirely?
I think like with Dodds and Nika, I think learning like 2 new players on top of Neil and Fred for me would be way harder. So I already know Dodds and Nika play. I don't even think about it. I just know what they're going to be. I know what they're doing. And so that's just me learning how Fred and Neil want to play like team fights and stuff, you know. Because I played I think 2 other teams realistically,
Right,
PK and like, Rival,
right.
and I feel like it's just very different. So I feel like Neil doesn't really play like a Milsey or like Kailas
Right.
Or ref.
or
That's-
Ref.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah. Neil's a wild card over there. You
He's
never know.
just-
what
I
you're
don't know
gonna
how
have.
he plays. It's the most.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's not in their back.
Neither do our opponents. Nobody knows.
He said this
And that's
earlier.
the mystery. Woo!
He's not in their back line. He's not in our back line. He's just like,
I'm the
he's just
chess master.
floating.
We went over
He's
this.
just floating
He's
in
in the
space.
base.
I'm just moving you guys around.
Oh,
I'm not actually.
The
I wish
puppet master.
if it was like that, it'd be so easy for us.
Do you think that's the problem?
they would
is that you
just
don't
get
have
in the
complete control?
backpack.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
No, I'm just
This
playing.
guy,
I'm
this
just
guy,
playing.
man.
Nika, how about your thoughts on that?
I think it's way easier. I mean, we have 2 teams that were good teams in the season before. You just have to, like, we will work together, like, pretty well, I'd say. It was pretty, like, I found it pretty easy to play with Fred instantly. These 2 played pretty well together as well instantly.
Sometimes.
Fred and Daughters, like, it felt like they've already been teaming. Like, they're, like, super comfortable with each other. And I think it doesn't matter how many team identities you have. If, like, the players work well together instantly, it's just getting the best from everything, right? So, like, we have, like, some picks from SSG and Renegades that we've played this year already and won with. But it's, like, it's just making sure that Neil and Fred can play well with those or vice versa. I think it's been pretty simple. And, like, the ping thing, I mean, that can't really control that.
Right.
That's probably been the only thing stopping things from coming together quicker.
I imagine it must have been really crazy. I was thinking about the time zone difference that you guys would have had to deal with because a lot of teams, you know, they've got some players here and some players over in the UK, but you guys had Neil on West Coast.
Close.
Yeah.
Mountain time.
Mountain. Okay, you
Yeah.
were Mountain Time.
Yeah.
Then you guys on East
Mountain
Coast,
time.
Yeah.
Sounds
and
funny.
then Fred in Denmark.
Well, Denmark and France are same time zone.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're in the same time zone.
Yeah.
So you guys
Still
have
three.
And then we got
yeah.
Chuck.
right.
And then
Yeah, and
Chuck.
Chuck.
No,
6
Australia.
a.m. 6 a.m. My guy.
Dude, he's
This is
waking up.
what
I was like,
it.
what time is it, Chuck? 3 a.m. Time for scrams. We're like, let's go.
Poor Chuck, bro. You got to feel bad for him. Is that just like? I imagine that must have been just super annoying to have to deal with like 3 different time zones. You're waking up early. It's like late for them over in Europe, I imagine.
Yeah.
At least eliminating that one time zone has made a bit of a difference for you guys, you'd say?
I don't really think it's.
I think
changed
everyone was
much.
fine with it because we can't really double scrim because it's just kind of rough for the European boys.
Yeah.
'cause,
It's gonna be
like,
way too early in the morning.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just had scrims at 1, like Eastern or like 12:30 on raid day.
Yeah.
Day.
It's
Oh,
nice. It's
when
nice
we,
for me though.
When we can eliminate raid day,
Good luck.
we'll be
What-
unstoppable.
It's nice for me though. I mean, like being 2 hours
Yeah,
earlier
for
than
you it's
Eastern,
way better.
like waking up at a gamer reasonable hour is like nice. I'm like, oh, 9 a.m. I have SPL. Oh, I have
Yep.
to wake up like so
Yeah.
early for SPL to be ready in like a couple hours, kind of thing. So it is a bit nicer, but I don't think it's changed too much.
What has been the biggest difference for you, Neil, coming from where at home in Canada to NA now?
Just the ping for sure. I was kind of surprised, like the ping. Like obviously, I wasn't nearly as handicapped in terms of like ping as people are in Denmark and in the UK and whatnot. Like having like 140 plus is way worse than me. Getting like 100 to 110, worse server like 120.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was just surprised how much better my decision making was getting. Just being more focused on the game and being like even calling stuff just more comfortable with that, as opposed to being kind of in your own head focusing on the little things like the mechanics and whatnot. It just made it so much easier to like just look at the map, think about the bigger picture, than just think about your own little plays, right? So I was really surprised moving down just how much easier that was in terms of my own play. And then also just opening up new picks that if I wanted to play them made it a lot easier as well. And I just think as well, like I was living in my parents' basement. Like when you go from your parents' basement to like a work environment, it's easier just to be in that zone than be like comfortable and and everything. So I think that just moving down mentally was a bit of a shift as well.
Surely there are worse places to be than Robin
Oh,
Ma's
for
basement.
sure.
I mean,
I'm not complaining. It's a
Looked
great place
cozy
to
down
be.
there.
It did look cozy.
It
down
was cozy down there. It was nice.
there. Absolutely.
Too cozy. That's the problem. Too cozy.
Yeah,
No
too
focus.
cozy. Had no edge there.
Exactly.
Had no edge. Absolutely. From your perspective, Vote, what's been the biggest difference since having Neil arrive here?
I feel like it's just like what you said mentally. It's like he doesn't really think. I feel like what Fred goes through is probably just like he wants to do things, but he just second guesses himself. He's like, oh, if I miss this ability, I'll die. I could lose the game, you know. I feel like Neil doesn't have that anymore. He's like, he runs it down. Everyone knows that. But now he don't think about it. He just goes in, you know. Just gut
No
instinct.
hesitation.
Yeah.
No, he's gunning it down. Nika?
Yeah, I mean, it's just what Liam said. It's like when you are on ping, you actually just cannot play clearly. Like
Yeah.
you're always like, oh, but I could do this. Like, but what if I miss this? Like Fred was even talking about it. Like, oh, like if I was here, I could like 1v1 people. Like Neil was saying, like, oh, like I can't play this card probably because it's just like way less likely to work. I think like Neil has like noticeably played better since moving down, and
Sometimes.
I just think he's like playing like more normally, like he's just playing more intelligently. Because I think the ping was actually just like getting to him, and it's not a surprise. I mean, it would get to me as
Yeah.
well.
I just think just more, just like less random stuff.
Yeah, like-
just thinking a bit more clear. Like sometimes I guess like screw it, go in. I'm just like, oh, like what was I thinking? Like I shouldn't have done that. And now I'm just, like, it's just stuff that like I wouldn't normally even do.
Yeah, because I think when you're on ping as well, and you make like a mistake, you're like, oh, you can like blame the ping more, right? But like,
Yeah.
I think when you don't have that to blame, you just like improve or like.
I think it's just harder
Get
to
back
it's
to
harder
the
to be
top
as
quickly.
passionate about your craft when you're
Yeah,
being held back.
100%.
So I feel like it's hard to, if you care 100% and like are fully invested in it, you're so much more emotional and it hurts so much more like when you're losing over things you can't control. Not to say like I didn't care anything, but when you're down here and you give 100% and you can see like the effort you're putting in is coming back as well as showing growth, it's
Yeah.
really rewarding that way. And I think for our team too, just having your mid-core all have a little bit of like hesitation is tough. I think now that we moved down, I think that at least in our practice and whatnot, I feel like I've had better like feedback for our team. Like we should be playing more like this, and we need to be doing this better. And I feel like more confident in saying those things now that I'm not thinking about myself so much. I think that like once everyone comes down to, we'll have so much more just decisiveness overall and less hesitation,
Yeah.
right? Because there's been sometimes like even in practice, I'm like we should just be like playing this way right now around this and like be looking for X or Y, and before I wouldn't really be saying a lot of that. Like I would know it, but at the same time, it's kind of like you're a bit hesitant just because you're just like you're not as focused on that big picture team play as you are with yourself. So I think that as we all get down here, I think the team play will come a lot better together, and I think that just having mid and jungle together, just be on ping, it's just a tough combination.
Yeah.
I'm sure other teams feel that too, but I think those two roles, you have to play off each other, and they're such catalysts for your team into the early mid game. That's just really important to have them on the
Yeah,
same page and just playing clearly.
Yeah, I feel like we've made the most progress as a team, like since the period you've come to now. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I think so too.
because before, like it would be really hard to look at the bigger picture as a team, because you just always have this one thing that's so easy to blame and be like, well, that probably doesn't go wrong if everyone's here. Like we'd play differently, but with like an extra person here, it's like if we make a big mistake, we'll have like a way more like I guess productive talk about it, or like figure out like what everyone like thinks should be the way we play and stuff. It just felt like way more focused now,
Yeah.
even with only just Neil being extra.
Yeah, that transitions me nicely into my next question. What was going to be, what changes the most with when Fred and Dardes get here? What are you looking forward to the most when they do finally arrive?
God pools for Fred, I think. Like I think people forgetting he was like end of last season he was playing like any assassin he wanted.
Yep.
And he was just hard diffing people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's kind of that meta again, and him being able to like comfortably play like all the assassins he likes should be pretty good for us.
Yeah, well, they're both literally all stars. Like those guys have like
Yeah.
highlight reels on highlight reels on highlight reels, and then you put them like in
Yeah,
a cage.
I think people are disrespecting both of them, honestly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really forgot how dominant both of them were in their
Yeah.
roles. And I think they're both just going to shine as soon
Yeah.
as they get here, honestly.
I'm
I have no
excited to
doubt.
see Dardes play like on without ping, because I haven't even really got to see him play yet. Like I've seen Fred play. I know Fred's a beast. I know Dardes is a beast too on ping, but I'm excited just to see what he's like as a player. And I'm also excited. Like I know, like I said earlier, Fred's a really big voice and was a big voice for our team last year. And I feel like when he gets here, he'll be able to contribute a lot more to that, and I think that'll help our team out tremendously. Because I feel like just having one more voice, one more decisive voice in team comms is really important, right? Because like I feel like a lot of the times, at least for me, like if I'm a passive character, it's harder for me to figure out like, okay, like we can just do this and it'll be good because I'm like a kind of a backseat character. And I feel like when Fred has a lead, and when Fred gets a lead and he's comfortable and he can make calls and he'll know exactly what to do, and it'll help our team out a lot. Just to push leads, just being able to just dictate how we should be playing as a team, and I think that'll go a long way.
Vote. How about for you? What do you think changes the most when they get here?
I think they'll just be happier, to be honest.
That's
That
true.
is
I think
Yeah.
Fred, like, even just in scrims, sometimes you hear, he doesn't sound...
he's miserable.
It's so
there's somebody
funny.
who dies, and it's somebody dies because
walk-off,
of ping.
the Fred
Yeah.
walk-off.
Like, you talk, and you take his headset off, and you just scream, "Oh my god, I can't hit anything."
And you hear him
then
just
you
walks
hear
out the
him
room.
fading.
It just fades out.
And then he's about to respawn. He comes back. He's like, "Alright, I'm back."
Yeah, oh my
So I think
God,
it's
dude,
just-
I can't do anything.
he's like walking in the room. So good.
I think it's we got just happier.
Yeah. I think that'll make a big difference for you guys for sure. And with that in mind, what are your expectations heading into the end of this year? Liam, we'll start with you.
I think we'll smoke everyone. I think Dawes and Fred
Yeah,
probably the best 2v2 in mid.
I think so.
Out of every other team.
That would be a
I
huge
think-
difference for
Dude,
you guys.
I mean,
I think Dawes is like. I play with him. Like, I know he's good. I think people actually criminally underrate him. Everyone
I
thinks
agree.
he's insane, but I still
Not
think
enough, I agree.
insane is not does not describe how good he is.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. I mean, last year he was like near the top of everyone's power rankings for mid and for player like in general. I mean, that was
Yeah.
like he's one of the
and then
premier
Fredo
players.
Wolds was the best
Yeah.
jungler. Like,
Yep.
he was crazy.
Can they just hurry up and carry me already? Or like,
Can they
No,
just
but I
get
think,
here?
like,
seriously?
Can they just get
I
here?
think we have, like, when those two get here, we have so many win conditions, and it's
Agreed.
like 5 proven players who can carry games. Even this guy. Even Neil's carried some games in his time.
This guy?
At
Yeah,
Worlds.
Worlds
Remember that
on the line.
Suckette?
I remember
Crazy.
Link Sobek pluck too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
These guys were this close.
But yeah, like, there's just so many good things about this team. Like, every player is top in their role. Like, when there's nothing like holding individual players back, and we all work well together. I mean, I'm not even like that scared of any of the teams now. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just feels like if we can get on an even footing, like,
Like I feel like right now there's no game I feel like we just can't win.
100%.
You know, I feel there's always games we always there's always I feel like we can win it.
Mhm.
Maybe like 1 or 2 sets this year I feel like we're unwinnable. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that in mind, this is my new final tough question that I like to ask
Ooh.
right before we break. Really make you sweat a little bit. What would constitute a successful season for you guys? What could you look back on and say that I'm happy with how this season went? Is it
It has to be winning Worlds. Anything else is not good enough.
you won't
for
be
me,
happy with
anyway.
anything else?
Nope.
Not even if you get to Worlds, finals,
Nope.
close set.
To me, at the end of the day, I mean, you might look back at it in like a year or two, like, yeah, I mean, I had like like even now, like the reverse sweeps, it is some of the best sets ever, like in Smite. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And knowing the like,
And you guys had great teams those years.
and I'm like,
Won a
okay,
mid-season
I guess I
invitational.
lost to the champs like both times, like
Yeah.
mentally, it's like, okay, maybe I would have just won if this went differently, but so it doesn't feel better.
Yeah.
And I feel like when like I'm on the teams and I feel like we should be winning Worlds because we're good enough. I feel the same way this year. So anything less than that would probably not be good enough. Like in the long run.
Neil, do you have to win 3 in a row for it to be a successful season?
That would be huge. I kind of think every season, though, like, I've always said this, like, if we come out and we play really well together and, like, we genuinely lose because they're just better, I'm okay with Like, if we play insane and they're just more insane, they beat us, and we're, like, we played our best, sure. But, like, never in my career have I ever lost a game and just thought, like, we all played insane and we just lost. So if that did happen, I think it would be hard to be, like, to be sad about it if we literally all just played insane and they were just better. But yeah, for the most part, it would be really good to win 3, obviously, for a multitude of reasons, but mostly, obviously, even last year, like, it was good just winning just for Fred as well, right? Like, his first time, like, players who have played a long time, who have, like, given their lives, like, their adolescence to this game to win. So, yeah, I think that'd be big, is just to, as a team, just come together, especially after such a turbulent year as well. I think it'd be really validating for us.
Yeah. Liam, how about for you?
I've already lost 2 finals, so I'm not really too psyched to get a 3rd final loss. So kind of just have to. And
So first round, get first rounded or win. Those are the 2 options.
well, the first rounded, A PK, yeah.
So second round. I don't know.
Second rounded on SSG, right?
Yeah, so
He's done it all.
We gotta
You
win.
got it all.
After all except
Don't
win.
qualify or win.
Don't qualify.
Oh my god, dude.
Those
If
are
we
the
don't
only
qualify,
options.
Imagine that.
We're gonna
We're
clip
popping
that for-
champagne if we don't qualify.
At least we didn't lose, but it felt worse. That's what they're going to be looking for. All right, fellas, thanks for doing the team check-in. We had some Twitter questions, I believe, for you guys right after the break, but we'll be right back as we get that set up. Don't go anywhere.
Bye.
So here's the pitch, okay? We've all seen Myth Swifts. It's that outtake show, and it was running it in. I saw chat spamming when I told Jordan to focus. So we're gonna run with that. Strike while the iron is hot. Jordan sitting at his desk at the video team section. I don't know what they do. I don't care what they do. But for the premise of this video, cannot be focused. Watching anime butts on one screen. I don't care what he's doing. Just can't be working. All right. And then he hears Myth Swifts. Big TV right behind him. Myth Swifts playing. Here's the line. Says Jordan, focus. Okay. And then his eyes go wide. He turns around. Turns off the TV. He's trying to get rid of me. He knows he's not focused, but he knows he needs to be. But goes back to his desk, goes back to doing whatever he's doing. But he has to focus. So I'm at his window. Boom, slam on the window. I'm like the Babadook, okay? He doesn't know where I'm coming from. I slam the window, piece of paper, says focus. He does a little bit. He focuses a little bit. He doesn't turn off the anime butts. No. He flips his hat around, Ash Ketchum style. I don't know. And then he goes back to doing anything he wants, but not focusing. That's not enough for me. That's not enough for high res. It's not enough for what we stand for. So I appear behind the wall behind him, okay? Boom, Mifflin, up there. I tell him to tighten up. He needs to focus. He does a little bit more. He focuses a little bit, but not enough, okay? And then it's not enough for me. It's not enough for me, okay? We have to go even further beyond that, all right? He does eventually close the screen, but that's not enough. I'm still appearing. I'm appearing everywhere. I'm in the bathroom. I'm in his cereal. I'm in his snacks. I'm telling him to focus, and eventually he switches desks. I'm under his desk, okay? I'm telling him to focus there, and that's where it happens. He sits in a maxonomic chair, his eyes dilate, and he finally finds his focus.
Okay. Approved.
I sold it? I sold it! Yes! I'm gonna sell so many chairs.
Jordan, what the was that? We just lived a fever dream. I have no idea what just happened, and we approved it.
What kind of anime butts we talking? What kind of anime butts we talking?